Good morning. Happy Friday. This is Freedom Fridays, and I am sitting with my great friend, teammate, and top producer in a very short amount of time, Jorge Martinez. And we're really excited today to sit here and just talk to you guys about what is going on in the market and what we're seeing with our clients. And George, feel free to jump in and introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about you. I know you've been licensed for a minute. But well, compared to me, because I've been licensed for 8 years. So just tell us a little bit about yourself and let the audience get to know you a little better.
Yeah, what's up, everybody? And thank you, Melody, for asking me to join you on Freedom Fridays. It's truly an honor and a pleasure. And so just a little bit about myself. I actually got licensed on August 16th, 2021. Fun fact, I actually found out I had COVID for the first time that day. So I was having heat flashes during my exam, thinking it was nerves the whole time. And I found out immediately after when I was eating chocolate. I was like, why couldn't I taste all this chocolate? And I got home, took a test, and was like, damn, I had COVID heat flashes the entire time during my exam. But luckily, I passed. But before I did real estate, I was actually in the tech industry. I always thought I always wanted to be in tech and saw myself as like a tech bro. Never really foresaw myself in real estate, but a lot of people always told me yo, you should do real estate. You have a great personality for it. I kind of always pushed it off because sales was never attractive to me. I really more enjoy connecting with people and really establishing relationships. And for me, I didn't feel from where I was at the time in my life that real estate maybe wasn't it for me. But since I made the transition during the pandemic when the company went under that I worked for, my previous broker actually afforded me a great opportunity and paid for my licensing. So I told myself, you know what, I'd be boo-boo the fool to pass up a free real estate license. And since I have hit the ground full throttle, I switched over to Team Fast with EXP in March of this past year. And honestly, I do not see myself anywhere else in another career. And it's really afforded me a great opportunity to quit my salary role, go full time, surround myself with amazing people like yourself, Mel, that really make me realize during this time while everybody's freaking out and panicking that the market is going to crash, that, you know what, this is actually just normal. This is going to challenge me as a human being, as an agent. And actually, I'm really glad, even though in March I was scared that I joined during this time, it really gave me that opportunity to think, you know what, it's going to make me think outside the box from the very start. And that's exactly what has happened. And what I'm seeing during this market change is that to a lot of people that got licensed when I heard it was easy, you needed kind of half a brain and just a license to get in the contract. Now, I'm like, damn, I'm thinking of all these different strategies. And that's where us being on such a mega team with over 400 agents really helps, is because we're not just in one market. We're able to tap into each other. Like, you're more in Walnut Creek, I'm in Hayward, and then we have people in SoCal, San Diego, all over. So it's really nice to be collaborative and really learn from within our team what's going on within the market. And I think that's where we're really lucky, because a lot of other people are kind of seeing the market right now and they're like, oh, it's a great market or it's a bad market. And we as a whole team got to come together these past 2 weekends or after the weekends and really analyze what was going on within the market from all over and different angles, and not just go what CNN or just the news is telling us is a brief overview that they're saying is across the entire nation, when it's really not. Each market and each city is essentially its own market.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% on all counts. And first of all, I just have to say, I'm so proud of you for how far you've come in such a short amount of time. I mean, if anyone is watching this and they've been in real estate for, a short amount of time or even a long time, that it is not easy to take off right away, and you have to have some serious focus, grit, determination, drive and resourcefulness in order to really make it in a sales job, where it's just 100% dependent on you. And you've done that. You've proven to us that you are able to do that. And one thing that I really admire about you is that you're such a go-getter. Like you are so resourceful and you know how to partner up with the right people. You know how to, have a beginner mindset. You're so humble and you're not like walking in here like, oh yeah, I'm this millennial that like knows everything and has it all figured out and like you're not that. You're totally humble about it. By the way, I love your Instagram reels.
Thank
um,
you.
I think that it's like so cool what you're doing out there, and I think that that's what it takes in order to be a great agent. Resourcefulness and having a beginner mindset. But you know, talk to us a little bit about what you're seeing with your buyers and your sellers. I know that you've partnered up like a dozen times with agents on the team. You're really good about that, and you're really good about looking out for your clients and being able to find them the next deal. So talk to us about what you've seen the last 2 weeks. Let's keep it really narrow, let's not
Yeah.
go wide, let's go deep in the last 2 weeks and talk about what you're seeing in the market and what you're experiencing, what is happening with your buyers and your sellers.
Yeah. So honestly, I think a lot of people don't realize how quick the real estate market can shift. And we're in the Bay Area. So right now, a lot of the objections I'm getting from a lot of my buyers is that a lot of my buyers are in the tech industry where I was before real estate. And I mean, my buyers right now, some of them I was out the week of Christmas Eve. We were out shopping Christmas Eve, 2 weeks before that. Literally, there was nobody at open houses. Sometimes we were the only group, or maybe two other groups if we were lucky. And then even then, we were sometimes being the only offer. And then now coming into the first 2 weeks of the new year, we're seeing that just kind of everybody else is coming back onto the market. Like I kid you not, like I tell my buyers after every open house we've been to together, it's been damn near like Disneyland. I swear we need a damn fast pass to get our offer accepted because some of these houses, my buyers that we put in before the new year, they literally were able to have their pick and pull out if they found something else that they liked that fit their criteria better. But what my buyers are seeing is now they're like, they even texted me the other day and they're like, George, we thought we were in a down market because one of my clients actually works in finance at a big bank in the city. And she's like, they're scaring us. They're telling me like interest rates are gonna like increase 3 times before like April. And so that's what she's seeing on her end. But in the field, what we're seeing is that a lot more people are hitting the market. Like we've put in an offer at a 2.5 price range in Burlingame. And I kid you not, that same property had over 200 groups come into their open house over 2 weekends. And so not only that, they ended up getting into contract with 6 offers. My clients came in at list price.
Wow.
I advise them to keep their contingencies, especially with all the rain we've had in the last 2 weeks. I kid you not, it's like we're monsooning. I mean, Merced isn't too far from us here in the Bay, and they are like underwater. Like it looks like Hurricane Katrina from what I saw in the news, but which is sad. But I mean, I told my buyers like, hey, keep your inspections contingency with soil and foundation.
Mhm.
And this house is built into a hillside. Like you could landslide, especially seeing all the sinkholes going on in the peninsula. But not only that, the agent got back to me 6 offers. She got about over 2.8, and which is 300K over the asking, probably more. She didn't fully disclose the exact
and,
amount.
and when was this?
This was literally 2 days ago. So
Okay.
today's Friday. So this was Wednesday, January 18th.
So $300,000 over the asking price in this market 2 days ago. I
Yeah.
mean, that's
And
crazy.
fully non-contingent. Like fully non-contingent.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then a week before, my buyers wanted another property a mile away in Millbrae. And this property was on the market for almost 40 days, no offers. In the first weekend, my buyers said, let's write. Called the agent for more info, texted me back. We got way over the 2.3 asking price fully non-contingent, 7 offers. He was like, I ratified 20 minutes ago. And I was like, holy smokes, this property that was sitting for over a month, now coming into the first weekend of 2023, is just gone like that. And it's crazy because a lot of the feedback I'm getting from buyers that work in tech are, hey, you know what? Why am I paying this price point when the interest rate is much higher than it was 6 months ago? So I think that there's also a disconnect with buyers right now, is that they're not having that mindset of getting in the game right now, and that their window of opportunity for negotiations is shortening, because as you've seen, and we've seen in the last week, that interest rates are slightly dropping. So it's only a matter of time for them to come down a little bit lower, and even more people are going to be flooding.
Right, right. And let's elaborate a little bit on this window of opportunity, because I feel like I hear a lot of people talking about it, and it's important to talk about. So there is a big window of opportunity right now before the market completely takes back off and goes skyrocketing again, at least here in the Bay Area, Northern California. And by the way, if you're tuning in, let us know where you're tuning in from in the comments. We want to know where you guys are from, who's out there watching us right now. Show us some love, throw an emoji in there, let us know. But I want to know, I had a listing on the market in Walnut Creek. It was in the downtown area, super cute condo. And, my sellers really wanted a little bit more for it. They wanted probably around 600,000 for it. And I said, no, you know what? This isn't the market for that. Let's not gamble. Let's not play poker with the market. Let's go under what we think it should be listed at, and let's price it correctly for this market, because the comps from the past 3 to 6 months are not going to give us the data that we need, because everyone is pricing incorrectly right now. There is a ton of agents out there that are overpricing their properties, like we're still in 2020 or 2021, or they're letting the seller dictate what the price should be without coaching their clients through it, without letting them know this is the data, these are the facts, and it's not coming from me. This is coming from the numbers, the data. And let's price it correctly, unless you want your home to be on the market for a long period of time, right? And so that's what my sellers did. They took my advice on it. And you were there. You hosted my open house for me. 14 groups on a Sunday, 10 groups Saturday. And we were able to generate 4 offers in less than 5 days. And it ended up, we're pending right now for way over the listed price and over 600,000. Now, I think that if we would have listed at 600,000, an extra 20,000 really doesn't sound like a lot, but it would have deterred a lot of buyers from getting their foot in the door, right? And as we all know, the more eyes on the property, the more people getting in the door is just going to create that, that momentum around the condo where everyone thinks, wow, this is a hot property. Let's get our clients in.
Right.
So, and another thing I'm going to note is, like, you don't have to spend a ton of money on fancy staging or overly elaborate marketing, or anything like that. They did it on a low budget. And I said, you know what, we'll use your own furniture. Let's just get it really clean and get it on the market. And let's see what happens. Worst case scenario, it doesn't sell. Right. And we take it off the market, and you guys sit in it for a little bit longer until the spring selling season. But what do you think is going to happen when rates continue to improve and spring selling season comes back around in the next couple of months with these properties going on the market?
Honestly, I think it's interesting, because even for myself, I look at my own family and see what my family doesn't know. And I try to turn that around and see, okay, I'm the first in my family to do real estate, to go to college. So a lot of, like, my family, I feel like, is also one that is uneducated what's going on, because even my grandparents talked about selling their house, and they're like, we can get top dollar, we can get this. And I know everybody's home is like their treasure box. Everyone, of course, is going to want the most value for their property. So I believe is though, it's all about marketing. It's not what it was like a year ago or a year and a half ago when interest rates were a lot lower. and people were able to just take crappy photos and throw it on the MLS and you get 20 offers. It literally is all about presentation. And that's actually something that I touched in on my newsletter that's going out to my database, is that staging is essential. Your presentation is essential. Who your agent is getting your listing in front of is essential as well, because that's something that I also am doing right now with my current listing with Carmen Hernandez. Is it's all about pricing it right and being realistic with your seller, because we talked to our seller and said, what price do you want us to, like, do you have in mind? Because these are what the comps say, and really having that educated discussion with them, but then also letting them know, like, if you want that number, we're going to make sure that we're getting you that number. But also, this is what you would need to do in this market right now, especially with these interest rates, as far as seller concessions. And I feel as though even when I wrote a lot of offers with my buyers, a lot of the listing agents clearly didn't even have that conversation with their clients. Like, I asked about seller credits. Would your client be interested in doing seller concessions if my client was willing to come to that list price that your client wants so bad, that is transparent pricing? And they're like, you know what? I actually never had that conversation with them. And then these are listings that are sitting on the market at list price at like 2.8, 2.9 for 5-6 weeks now. And it's like, it's all about really educating the clients that we're working with and really honing in on being realistic with them. Because you said earlier on, I've done a ton of partnerships, and that's where I have loved working with Jung Hee as well on the team. Is she's a straight shooter. And what I've learned from her is being direct. When we've gone to the listing appointments, we show up with the comps, our marketing, and we're having just a normal conversation with the sellers, and we're letting them know, yeah, it's cool, we're going to make money off of it, but that's not ultimately why we're here. We're here to help educate you on how the market is and let you decide on that executive decision based on the information we presented to you on how the market's doing, how we're going to market your property, how to stage your property, and we're going to recommend a price. If you feel like you want $300,000 above the asking, that's not where the market is, we're going to straight shoot it with you and let you know maybe you should hold your house a little bit longer until the market does turn to your favor, and then give us a call back. But then we're seeing listing agents that are taking properties just to say that they're getting a listing, and then doing these outrageous prices that are not really being able to be comped out right now. And then they're shooting themselves in their foot and doing a disservice to the client. Because now I feel as though if you price it right, you do the right marketing, you educate your seller on if they need to give seller concessions at some point to get that done. Like, during this time where it slowed down, I've listed with Carmen Hernandez and Jung Hee, and in that amount of time from November till now, we've listed about 3 or 4 properties together, and all have been priced right. We've done the marketing right. We've done reverse prospecting through Real Scout and email blasting it to within our team network, any organizations we're on, to hit other realtors that are not within our team to get it the maximum exposure, and utilizing social media. And we've gotten all of these properties into contract within 7 days of being on the market.
That's great. That's amazing. That's amazing.
So it's definitely a strategy. And I think, and that's where I'm really fortunate to have started out being so successful early on, is being able to learn from different agents and really maneuver with the market and not be stuck in one mindset. Because at the end of the day, we're all here as real estate agents to serve our clients and really educate them. Because I have buyers right now that are running comps when I provide them comps and sending them my way and saying, this is actually a comp. And I'm like, holy smokes, do you guys need me anymore? I thought I was.
Yeah, I think, one of the things that I really am hearing a lot is you have to educate the client. And it's not about just, putting another house on the market and having your signs sit outside and throwing a lockbox on it. That doesn't help anyone. You're not doing your sellers a favor by doing that, because they're not getting, their home sold. You're not doing yourself a favor by doing that, because you're not getting paid at the end of the day by doing that. And you have to be realistic in this market, and not even realistic, but overly realistic. And I think this market definitely in the past 6 months has humbled a lot of people. And as you've heard, there's going to be a lot of agents, leaving the industry. And a lot of people have really been struggling right now that are in real estate because they are just not able to stand up to what this market is doing. They're not able to educate the client the right way. The last couple
Mhm.
of years, it's like you could stand at an open house and get like 10 leads and sell 4 houses out of those 10. But
Yeah.
this market is not that way anymore. And I think that the strongest people that are able to coach their clients through it, educate themselves on the market, and really be able to be very practical are the
Mhm.
ones that are going to shine. And it's crazy because I was actually on I was talking to one of my girlfriends the other day, and she said that she wrote a offer on a property in Alameda, and she saw 8 offers on that property in Alameda. Okay.
Oh my God.
So it's like and then after my listing went pending, this is another story is after my listing went pending is I had an appraiser call me and go, "How did you guys go pending so fast? What did you do?" She's
What?
like, an appraiser that is also a real estate agent. And she said, I'm calling on behalf of my clients because they missed out, but also I'm calling for myself because I own an appraisal company and I just want to know, what did you guys do? And I said, honestly, first of all, we priced it correctly. But second of
Mhm.
all, when you price a property correctly and are able to do the right type of marketing in this market, it's going to sell. And she
Right.
goes, I mean, I don't really agree with you. I don't agree. I think that, I'm not seeing multiple offers on properties right now. It's going to take a while for that to come back. And I said, well, we did it. We did it. That's what we created. That's what we generated. And I told her, I said, I think as we move through this kind of like the last 6 months, have been really hard. But as we move out of that, which we are already on our way moving out of that, and we will recover from this downturn or this recession or whatever you want to call it. And as we kind of recover, it's going to continue getting better and better. And the more homes that are priced properly are going to sell quickly, and
Right.
you're going to sell for over the asking price. And she said, okay, like I have a different perspective on the market now. Like, thank you for educating me on what's going on. And I guarantee you she's going to take that information and she's going to go and share it with her clients. But at the end of the day, like, the sellers were happy, they're looking for their
Yeah.
next replacement home, and they're like, wow, so what do you think is going to happen, like, with the sellers that need to purchase their replacement property? Do you think that they're going to be now the ones that are stuck in the bidding war? And how do you write an aggressive offer without, overextending your clients? Like, what do you do?
Yeah. So, ooh, that's really interesting. Is that like you're right, and I feel like that's we're definitely seeing multiple offers, and I've helped a lot of my listings that have happened in the last few months have actually been double clients, like where we're helping them on the
Yeah.
sell side of their home, and we were able to get them their next home that they were purchasing super easily like that with the contingency on the sale of their home.
Mhm.
Now what I'm seeing too is that it's definitely going to be a lot harder because I actually am in contract right now where one of my clients, his purchase right now is contingent upon the sale of his home, and then his home is contingent upon the sale of the buyer's home. So he's kind of in this train of contingency on the sale of property 3 rows down, basically. But I
Yeah.
feel like going into the new year, we're going to have to start thinking a lot more strategically, because we might actually be seeing that go away, where a lot of our sellers that want to buy next are going to have to be contingent upon the sale of their home. And I think that's where I've also started to get a lot more creative and kind of mastermind with other agents from other teams. I know I hosted an open house for Brant, who's on Jeremy Larson's team with EXP. And I was chatting with him and I was like, dude, so your clients, they lived here, right? Did they buy their next home? Kind of had that dialogue with him. He actually told me about HomeLight's program where his clients he was able to connect them with HomeLight. And basically with HomeLight, they were able to front his sellers the money to purchase their next home, and basically kind of gave them an offer on their current home so it wasn't contingent upon the sale,
Yeah.
and basically front them the money and then give them this timeline to sell their property. And if not, if they couldn't sell their property within that timeline, then HomeLight was going to relist it with the agent that was selling it for them.
Yeah.
And then if they ended up selling the property for, let's say, $50,000 more than what they contracted with that seller, then that seller would then in return get the extra proceeds from the sell. So I've actually been looking into that more closely with my clients. So that would also be an alternative to help them win during this market change, because I want to make sure that my clients are presented with every angle possible and they're winning during this time and they're not getting stuck in a house that they may be outgrowing, or if they need to move for any reason. And for that, I'm also tapping into a lot of my hard money lenders as well, because a lot of my hard money lenders see right now as an amazing opportunity to buy up a ton of properties. So I'm sure you're seeing in the news, and hopefully a lot of other people are seeing it too. But right now, I don't know if you've heard this, but they've said that the Rockefellers, really built their wealth during the downturn in our economy, and that's why they became America's richest family and royalty in a sense. And that's what I read an article on recently, is talking about that by I think like 2035 or something, our percentage in millionaires is going to increase by 40% in the US and around the world. So definitely seizing an opportunity and being creative to making sure that we're helping people sell their homes, but then get into their next homes, even if they're contingent upon it, and finding a strategy that way.
Yeah. 100%. And that's actually a really good point, is when we did our Market Shift Mastermind event back in June with Raquel Quinnett, Jeremy Larson, and Patty Goodspeed. I think you were there. Were you there for that event?
Or Elevate, right?
No, the one that I did, and you volunteered. You're a
volunteer.
Oh yeah, yeah. And we did the raffle. So that's really interesting, because one of the things that I learned from that event, like it was my own event, but I'm sitting there like learning, which is like why I do these events, right? You're doing these to be able to help people and create connections and learn from other masters in the industry. And they were all saying the same exact thing, which is what you just brought up. Millionaires are created during the downturn, because when other people are scared and on the fence and not making the move, not taking the risks, and fearful of what is going to happen, they are the ones that are stepping forward and saying, we'll take the risk. We'll get off the fence. We're not scared of what's going to happen. And you know what? If we lose it all, then we lose it all. But if we take a shot in the downturn and we take advantage of an opportunity, we're going to win big. And a lot of people are not doing that. There's a small percentage of people that are doing that, and they are winning big. That's what we're talking about, right? Like the window of opportunity that we were just talking about. And I know you just made a reel on this, by the way. So talk to us a little bit about like this window of opportunity and what you're seeing personally.
Yeah. So I've been shopping with a handful of buyers out on the market, and they've had the last few weeks, they've been able to have their pick and get in a contract and back out when they found something better. And they're just seeing that window close, because a lot of the properties now that they're putting offers in on that they love, they're getting beat out on. And so we're having to reevaluate their strategies, and I'm having them, I call it speed dating with different lenders. But I actually just learned from one of my clients that's from India, that in India, that every lender is the same, that they have the same interest rate all throughout the entire country, that they were kind of shocked coming to the States and finding out that there's different interest rates. Different lenders offer only 50 or have access to 55 programs, where others have access to over 100. So I tell them, you have this 45-day window to run your credit, speed date, have an open dialogue with different lenders, because not one is the same. They're not cookie cutter. And I'm going to introduce you to 3 or 4. And the reason being is because one of them, you might go through your life story and they might hear, whoop, that meets the requirement for this program, where you're going to get a 4.5 interest rate and $14,000 in closing cost credit from our bank.
Yeah.
And so I've been doing that with all of my buyers to help them win. And actually, some of them have actually found out that they got a 4.5 interest rate with $14,000 closing cost credit.
Right.
And they were able to win at asking, because nobody else could get that interest rate during this time.
And not only that, you're getting those credits, but also rent backs are here. Like my listing was able to get a 30-day escrow and a 30-day rent back on the back end. That's 60 days that they can live in their property, not have to move, not have to go to a rental. Like they're not out on the street, right? And they get to shop for their next property. And so what I did was I remembered that they had their eyes on a property that was listed in October, and we wrote on it. We wrote 650 on it. It was listed as 675. So we wrote below, right?
Yeah.
And we didn't get it because the seller was like, yeah, my property is worth more than that. I don't want to take anything less than asking. We were like, cool. You know what? We'll just stop looking and get their property ready, put it on the market. When we're in escrow, we'll go back and look. And guess what happened? That same property that didn't accept our offer ended up expiring without a successful sale. So it expired. The listing agent could never sell it, right? Because probably, the seller was a little unrealistic about pricing, or maybe the agent wasn't advising her correctly on the pricing or this market or going on the market before the holidays. It could have been a factor of different things, but we know it didn't sell. I called that agent this week and I said, hey, is your seller still interested in selling? Because now we're in escrow. We close in 30 days and they are very interested in this property. And I got them an appointment and we're going to go see it today at 3:00.
Yes.
So it's an off market deal, right? And you have to be savvy. And the point is like, I know you're doing this. A lot of agents are doing this right now that are thinking 10 steps ahead, right? You have to get creative. You have to bring in those hard money lenders. You have to ask for the concessions. You have to negotiate the rent backs. You have to make phone calls on properties that maybe didn't sell 6 months ago and see if the listing agent is still willing to negotiate an offer for the sellers, and get creative with the financing. And I think there was one other thing that you said that you were doing other than the hard money lenders, but you have to think of these different strategies in order to best serve your clients. And those types of conversations are going to be, the strategic ones where you're going to actually help someone get into a home.
Yeah.
Right. At the end of the day. And I think that that's why we're so aligned. And that's why I love your energy. I love your vibe. And every time I see you at the office, we're like, we'll stand there and talk for 15 minutes.
Right. You're always in a rush and you're like, get out. And then next thing we know, like 15, 30 minutes go by.
I know. And I'm like, I gotta go. And then it's like, no, but wait, but what are you doing? And then you're like, no, but what are you doing?
No, honestly, it's great. And that, like, you're right. I do feel really aligned with you, because ever since I saw you at the office that day, you put me on game, like, hey, you got a VA, the team VAs could train your VA. So now, ever since I masterminded with you in those few minutes and just talking, I have really started to build out systems within my business. And I actually don't think I told you that yet, but thank you for that, because now I have the team VAs training my VA on Follow Up Boss. They trained her on how to duplicate the team's newsletter and import it into MailChimp. And I'm like, that's buying my time back. Right. Because now I'm able to hit that avenue with my database. The team VAs are training her. And then not only that, but now she's getting all this different knowledge that I didn't even have from certain tools that our team offers. So
right. And you're out there getting on to the next property while someone is training your assistant for you. That probably knows it better than you do anyways. So.
Exactly. And now I've even built in Monday.com into my business too, because now I'm building in more systems as I'm scaling a lot faster than I anticipated, because now I'm like, holy smokes, as things are picking back up. Now that's the beauty of our team, is that I'm like, you know what? I'm tapping into people that are in Walnut Creek, that are in Vallejo, that are in Napa, that are in San Jose when I can't get there. Yeah. And so that's definitely a huge asset for sure.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that this year is going to be this year is going to be really interesting. I would love to continue having these types of conversations. And I definitely think that like you brought so much value today. If you're watching this right now and you got value from anything that George talked about or that I talked about, anything of value, any questions that you have or something you might, want to run past us, don't be afraid to leave it in the comments below. We would absolutely love to mastermind with you, to give you our playbook, to share our strategies with you. And maybe it can help you in your business if you're an agent watching, or if you're a buyer or seller that's watching and you've been on the fence for a long time and you want to get some of our strategies. George and I are happy to partner up together on a deal and help you and help best serve your family, because at the end of the day, that's the company culture that we come from. Our company culture is all about sharing, giving, contributing, collaborating with one another, and really being able to come together to use our resources in order to give back to our community. And so I hope that you will do this with me again, George.
Yeah, honestly, I actually really enjoyed it. I've never done anything like this, but I've really enjoyed it. And I was thinking about it. I was actually the last 2 days, I was masterminding in my own head, thinking like, who else can we get up here? And when I posted my ADU video,
Yes.
my best friend Mariah, I'm not sure if you know her, Carmen's sister, but she lives in San Diego as well. She hit me up and was like, I'm an ADU expert. Like, she's not licensed in it, but she works for a contractor who specializes in ADUs. So I told her, I was like, do you want to hop on with your boss sometime? She was like, hell yeah, we'd love to chat about that. Because I think that is a huge topic right now that a lot of people really don't see value in. They think, oh, I probably have to spend thousands of dollars to build this, or why would I want to rent out to a stranger? Yeah. Well, that video idea clicked again when me and Carmen took this listing, because our seller actually, she's actually going to be renting. She's selling her property in Hayward, but she's going to be a renter to kind of figure out where she loves in the Central Valley. But she was saying that her bottom half of her house, she rented the 2-1, which is still a part of the house, is a single family home. People think it's a duplex, but she rented it out last year and made $20,000 off of Airbnb, which she said paid the vast majority of her mortgage. So
I love that. I love that. So if anyone wants to like listen in on a Freedom Fridays about what George just talked about, the ADUs and the investment properties and how to leverage your property to make money or passive income, let us know, because this could be a future episode. Don't give it all away, George. Don't give it all away. But this could be a future Freedom Fridays. Maybe next Friday we can get Carmen or her sister Mariah and her boss in on this, because I think this could be a whole nother topic of discussion where people can learn a lot.
Exactly. Because I was just like, honestly, that's the best thing about real estate. And I feel like, but when I first got licensed too, I was like, you know what? I gotta look cute, write some contracts. I was imagining selling Sunset. Like I tell people, real estate is not all sexy and being in nice Louis Vuittons and a cute suit, like in selling Sunset portrays. This is hard. It's hard. You're dealing with people's largest asset, people's emotions. I tell people when I take on new clients, I'm your realtor best friend. I'm your confidant, your negotiator. Oftentimes I'm your therapist. You're going to cry. You're going to scream about your man or your wife and want me to have those uncomfortable conversations with them. But it helps us grow as people. It helps us like help the clients that we continue to work with and continue to meet and 100%. Provide more value and know how to deal with different personalities. But I mean, a lot of people don't know that like with real estate, there's so many different avenues. Like you can go into specializing in ADU, specializing in luxury, relocation services, and helping people end up buying in Chile or Costa Rica and reinvest and pull HELOCs out of their houses in the States for that. So
100%. It's there. I mean, this is the exciting thing about real estate is it's the opportunities are literally endless. And that's why I got into this. And it's so refreshing to have conversations with people like you that really get that and really understand that and are like hungry and they have the passion and the drive. And they're like, I could call you like tonight and be like at 8:00 at night and say, hey, you want to go show a property with me and partner up? You'd be like, oh, yeah.
Because honestly, at the end of the day, too, I think that's something that shocked me when I first went full time a few months ago was that I met agents that were a little more seasoned than I. And they were like, oh, I don't go outside of San Mateo or I don't do this. And I told a client that asked me, are you a specialist in this area? And I said, I'm going to be real with you. Have I sold in that area? No. But am I going to learn about the area and become an expert? Hell yeah. I said, because I'll go anywhere because it's doing a disservice to me if I don't, because
Right.
then I'm just confining myself and not really challenging myself or teaching myself as an agent to better
Yeah.
serve clients. Because I mean, at my last brokerage, I remember I followed up with a lead for them and they go, you know what? That person went with a different agent to sell their Hayward house because they were looking to relocate to Palo Alto and we don't do Palo Alto. For me, I was like, what? Not gonna lie, those price points are nice, but ultimately I would have loved to learn that market as well,
Yeah.
because then you're also like, you know what? I can be an expert there. I can be
Yeah.
an expert there because what if you ever move? Because I feel
Right.
like a lot of people also don't realize with real estate, sometimes you don't have that luxury like a normal 9 to 5 to
Yeah.
pick up and be like, you know what? I'm gonna move to San Diego today.
Yeah. Like Carmen did.
Yeah. And power to her. She's crushing it and she's really maneuvering through it because San
Yes.
Diego is not an easy market to break into. So she's definitely crushing it. And I think
Yeah.
she's being very resourceful too. And that's what we can do, or what we have to do as agents. Like if you're going to sit here thinking you're going to make millions or you're going to close 20 houses this year just by sitting behind your laptop, nope.
It's not going to happen. Right. I mean,
Bags under these eyes. 12-hour days the last 3 weeks.
no, you don't. You look fabulous. And I absolutely adore you. You're awesome. Thank you so much for coming on here with me today. And I hope that we can do this again. I really think that, this is something that I think should be like a weekly thing, a bi-weekly thing. Like we should
Yeah,
be
no, I love
able,
it.
yeah, we should be able to, just get on here and do this and provide this to as many people as we can. Because trust me, when I first got licensed, this type of stuff didn't exist. I had to like sit there and read a book or, have to pay
Right.
someone and take them out to lunch in order to learn these types of strategies. So, it's fun for me. And I really appreciate you coming on here again.
Oh, thank you. I would love to do this again. Honestly, it it really is amazing that you're doing this because you're right. Like we have to get in front of people and really educate them and have sometimes uncomfortable discussions with them. But I think what people don't realize too is when we're doing this, we're also learning from them in return because even though we're in this knees deep every day, it's nice to hear what their outside perspective is and hear what
Right.
you're hearing from their friends or the news because sometimes I phase that out because the
Yeah.
way something someone told me was, I don't watch the news because you never hear anything positive.
Right.
And when do they ever say my name in the news? If I hear
Mhm.
people say it 4 times the same event, that's probably what's happening in today's world.
Right, right. And I encourage you if you're watching this right now and you're feeding into these news headlines and all of the drama and all of the negativity about there's going to be a housing market crash or home prices are declining, reach out to us. We're happy to sit down with you and educate you on what's going on in this market firsthand from the field, exactly as we're experiencing it on a day-to-day basis with our clients. I mean, this isn't the news. This isn't, some reality TV show. Like this is real life. We're actually
Right.
experiencing this with our clients. We're actually serving our buyers and sellers at a high level and we're educating them and coaching them through this and we're seeing amazing results. So, we're going to wrap up. I love you, George. I
I
hope
love
to
you
see
too,
you
Mel.
again. Thank you
Yeah.
for watching. And if you guys ever want to reach out to us, don't hesitate to hit that DM button on your social media platform, wherever you're watching this from. Bye, guys.
Bye. We still live, girl?